Hello there. Today I am continuing a couple themes from recent videos of mine, and one of those is sometimes you need skins. Today I do happen to have skins. You can see the hooks on the front there. I wouldn't need them for this trail except for the skis that I have opted to take. These are not cross-country downhill skis. They are just downhill skis. But what I've done is I've beveled an attempt at a traction pattern into the base, and also hence the other theme from a recent video, and that is mangling the bases of my skis. These skis might be a little too psychedelic and groovy for my boring and straight-laced personality. I want to give a quick shout out to my Valentine, my wife, for knitting me these mittens here. The neat thing about these is she added a little removable thumb piece there so I can do my thing on my phone when I need to record. Looks like she might need to make Gaulois a couple pairs. She's always crocheting things and making little stuffed animals and sometimes useful things like these mittens. If anybody would like to commission a pair, I'm sure she'd be much obliged. While I'm at it, I want to compile my thoughts regarding skins in the world of cross-country downhill. Skins are definitely a good thing to have as a safety precaution in case you end up at the bottom of some steep ravine with deep snow and there's no way out but up. Fish scales would be pretty inefficient in that scenario, and skins, of course, can save you energy anytime you're climbing something that's steep. And not having fish scales means your skis will glide a little better once you take those skins off. But on this road grade ascent here, these skins are not saving me any energy. If I had fish scales, I would not be kicking and gliding, but I at least wouldn't be dragging either. So each step forward would still have more glide, even if the glide doesn't continue after my step. I've got the skins neatly rolled up and stowed in the cup holders of my fanny pack, and now it's time to answer some questions. I never really had any hope that the fish scales that I beveled would be as grippy as those from a manufacturer, but one of my unanswered questions is, would they be useful enough to get me across catwalks or even shallow up hills where skating might not really be possible? And I've reached the top of the steeper part of my approach on this tour, and I think I'm finding that the answer to my question is kind of, but not really. I'm managing to go forward thanks to my poles, but I wouldn't want to do this for any amount of distance, really. My arms would get really tired, and it would also be really slow going. I don't know, I guess it was worth the experiment. Now that it's totally flat, I'm scooting along all right, but how often is it going to be totally flat, and why would you take these skis out if it is? Because it's relevant to the experiment, I want to mention the snow quality today. It's what I would call perfect snow. Really, any ski that I could have taken out would have been brilliant today. This snow is warm enough to be grippy, cold enough to not be sticky, soft enough to be carvy, and supportive enough to cover the crust from freeze-thaw cycles. Look at that, it's gonna be glorious. But anyways, other than really warm springtime snow, if there's any snow that I would have expected my little pattern to grip in, it would have been this snow today. Even with my lackluster fish scale pattern, these skis do have a lot more glide than a manufactured grip pattern. I guess that eases my mind about all the scratches I put into my skis. They can't be having that big of an effect. These skis I'm on, I guess are kind of twin tips. They rise in the front and the back pretty evenly. So maybe there's one thing to be said for having a lousy grip pattern. It's if you start to slip, you can just ski switch. Maybe I was a little too harsh on my pattern. It does glide well, it does help on the cat tracks, catwalks. I don't know if I want to commit to skiing down there with these weak sauce fish scales. We'll go back to the road. I don't usually ski this line because it's so narrow and a little on the steep side for my liking, but with today's snow, I think I can get away with it. Hook the sage. Hope that doesn't happen at breakneck speed. I guess my grip zone is a lot shorter on the Icelantics than the Alpinos. Also a lot less aggressive, but there are fish scales if you look closely. As a control in the experiment, I'm doing a quick little lap with my Alpina X Terrains. These things are absolute mountain goats when it comes to climbing with just fish scales. The glide is definitely better here. Going up all that's left to see is how they do going down. I'm sure they'll be a little slower. These also aren't exactly powder skis. All right, they may get completely gobbled up by the powder, but I have my pre-existing track to help with that. Whew. We're skiing plenty fast. Definitely not as surfy. Can't just swish out those tails the way I can with the other powder skis. But if I have forward momentum and I'm just carving a track, they do that pretty well. Try to keep my speed up here. Ooh. Too small. Yeah, you don't lose much for the downhill glide, and definitely prefer the fish scales, the manufactured factory fish scales for the climb.